You guys have a great podcast. It's such an important issue to tackle, especially right now. In fact, a new global survey reported that 15 to 24-year-olds worry most about the pandemic's effect on their mental health, and getting sick is actually low on their list of concerns. Alec, you have a 15-year-old son. His name is Zion, and he's African-American. He was adopted at 5, I think. How has this crisis affected your family?
Parenting a 15-year-old now in isolation, where his only communication is through social media, what I've tried to do as much as possible is affirm his genuine self. Because teenagers right now are going through almost like a split personality with the social media. There's their persona of who they present publicly and who they genuinely are. And I know that my son is trying to find himself, but I'm trying to affirm his actual self so that he can not experience that split. Because a lot of the anxiety of teenagers now is they're presenting a version of themselves, but they're afraid they're not living up to it. It's inauthentic. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do, 100%. And Matthew, I got to tell you, it's not easy for a lot of teens and their families, by the way, who have to handle teens that aren't really happy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you're teens, you feel physically invincible, so it makes sense that that's not as much of a concern. But then the biggest hit, emotionally speaking, for teens is just being disconnected from their friends. Yeah.
So in that vein, Matthew, what can teens do to deal with their mental health?
I would just say, get really creative, get experimental with friends, make sure that you're still engaged and that you're still staying connected. Go on social media, have fun, you can create music, maybe make a web series, whatever it is. And like bonus points, actually, if you're able to do it in any kind of meaningful way, like if you're actually creating something meaningful and being connected with others through that, that's going to be the important part. Because the thing that helps us feel less lonely is not just being seen or talking to people, but actually opening up and expressing more meaningful things and connecting that way.
Yeah, and Alec, that's a great point, because I know that even though your son wants his space and he's finding himself, you guys do therapy together as a family. You also have game night. So talk about how you guys are addressing, still trying to help each other through what's happening right now in the world.
Yeah, well, we're basically forcing him to spend time with us. Once a week. It's like you can stay in your room all week long, but on Friday night, we're going to play poker. And it's my favorite night of the week. My husband and I and our son, we get together and play poker, and I get to get a peek into the kind of person that he's becoming, his thoughts on Black Lives Matter and the pandemic. He takes both things very seriously. He's always been a smart kid. And conversely, I think because of the pandemic, because his choices of socializing are so limited, he is now more social than ever. I'm hearing a lot of animated conversations coming from his room. So I'm hoping he's talking to people. If he's talking to himself, then that's another thing we have to explore in therapy. But having a family night, even if it's just an hour a week, and for a teenager, for a 15-year-old boy, that's a lot.
Well, Alec, I got to say, I have a teenage boy, and I agree with you 100%. We mandate that there's certain time that's family. Meals are mandatory at the table, no phones, no electronics. We're going to talk. So I 100% agree with how you're doing that. Matthew, before we go, what advice would you give parents who are concerned about their children's mental health?
Yeah, I would say just, normalize what's going on. This is a crazy time that's really affecting all of our moods. So everything is very unpredictable and it can be really challenging for all of us. So instead of wanting and desperately trying to grasp for answers that we don't have, actually just get to be open and be vulnerable yourself as a parent, right? Get to share kind of what's going on, what you're thinking, what you're feeling too. And then that helps model for kids what that looks like. That vulnerability is okay, that it actually takes a lot of courage to be that open about things. And that can be the thing that helps set the tone so that nobody feels broken, right? Like that this is normal and we're all okay, even though this is really challenging.
You guys, I got to tell you, you guys are a great team, a great partner. Your podcast is awesome. Thanks for joining me today and really sharing some important information and tips that parents at home and kids watching can take to heart. So thanks a lot, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
All right, guys, be sure to download, subscribe, and listen to Alec Mapa, Hot Mess with Matthew Dempsey, Psychotherapist, wherever you listen to your podcasts.